Thank you guys for giving me this opportunity to present and talk about the digital monitor that Bytes for All has set up under this CREID project. This is the landing page of this monitor, and where you can have a quick look about the different queries that you can set up based on the keywords that you would select. I would click it here, and quickly I will give you a brief walkthrough of this monitor. This is the main page where you can have some numbers and some graphical presentations as well of the data, and some of the shocking spikes that are the main area of concerns when this monitor would guide you that something is happening around the query that you have set up. You can definitely quickly click on these, and like you can come across different conversations that are going on. So like for example, I have clicked on this spike which is from the September 23rd 2019, and it received around 27,192 conversation. It fetched from the Twitter. We are also monitoring other platforms as well, for example Facebook, but Facebook has different policies. I would talk about those challenges later on, and you can also ask different questions regarding the challenges. Definitely I will be there to answer them. After that, like you can also click on different sections of this monitor. It gives you a navigation bar on the left side. You can right now see where my cursor is. So it's telling me right now that the content source is Twitter, and the sentiment analysis, it's very interesting. So you can this monitor would help you gauging the sentiments that are being expressed by people. Are they in a good way? I mean, the conversations are happening in a positive way or negative or in a neutral way. So almost 50% of the entire conversation that happened is in the neutral way. But if I talk about the remaining 50% of the conversation, then the negative conversation overshadow the positive one. So 27% right now, the entire data that we have collected on this monitor. So 27% is negative, and remaining 24% is positive. So you can definitely, it's a very interactive tool. So you can click on the negative, and it will bring all those conversation in the 13 months. So you can go through all those negative conversations, and then similarly if you click on the right side, on the positive side, so you can also bring all the, or go through the all the positive conversations on this monitor. Then this emotional analysis, it reads within the conversations, and from the words used within the conversation, it and the emotions or emojis that people would frequently use. So based on all those things, so it collects collects information and categorizes into 6 or 7 main emotions. So for example, anger, disgust, fear, joy, sadness, and surprise. So you would see different emotions and spikes in different times. So you can have you can have understanding in that terms as well. And then the next thing is very important with regards to the conversation. So you can have a quick glance of the main terms and topics that people were talking about. So with regards to our monitor, so you can see, this is the topic wheel. It suggests that what were the main topics, like Islam, India, Muslim world, Sikhs, Imran Khan. So each main topic is further given with the subtopics. So you can go through all these lists, and you can have clear understanding of the topic and the subtopic. So where this conversation is coming from and what people are talking about, and when you click a specific conversation or subtopic, it will bring all the relevant tweets on your right side. So same goes with the word cloud. Same goes with the trending topic. It's very important that what sort of topics right now are trending and what topics are fading out. So it gives a scale between fading and trending. So like you can have a very quick understanding about what sort of hashtags or what sort of topics are emerging and what sort of topics are fading out. And then you can also have a understanding with the online behavior, that what days people are more using for expressing hate. So out of this data, so it is clearly visible that Saturdays and Sundays, they are 2 days where people are mostly engaging in online conversations and spewing hate. So, and it also gives an analysis of the influencers, that who are the main influencers of a conversation based on the mentions and the tip and the reach. If I click on the edit query, so you can see what sort of keywords and terminologies I'm using for capturing data. It ranges between blasphemy laws and different religions and different terminologies, hate terminologies that are frequently used, and they are common in Pakistani society. So based on all those terms, I constructed this query, and it's this is how it's working. I would now quickly talk about some of the cases that are very important. Recently, this case we captured. It was around a very burning issue. Ashura has just passed, and it's a day where Shia minority or Shia Muslim, they would observe vis-a-vis their religious beliefs. So in Pakistan this year, we see that it's a unique, because we have seen a lot of hate speech specifically against Shia minority. So you can see the total number of mentions that are all hate messages. So there are around 704, and unique authors and like new people who are coming and joining in the hate conversation, they are 601. And if I take you through some of the messages, so what sort of words were used or terminology. So it's a very clear kafir, kafir, Shia kafir. It's a very famous, very commonly used phrase against Shia, which means Shia are infidel. And it is specifically coming from one sect in Pakistan. It's and one religious organization that is banned in Pakistan, and it's called Sipai Sahaba. So like this is very frequently chanted slogan in Pakistan when it comes to Shia minorities. So it's a conversation, and if I take you through some of the topics on the topic wheel, so you can see people. It gives you an understanding that people were using this phrase as a slogan in specifically some of the events that were happening in Karachi, and some pelting was going on a Imam Barga in Karachi. So this sort of thing was happening when this hate speech was going on, and this is how we can have an understanding that a certain hate campaign has a link with the on ground or offline spaces hate, or even that is actually becoming a reason for the hate speech in online spaces. So this is how you can have what sort of other hashtags were being used at that time. So you can have different hashtags that were active, and you can also see some of the Urdu hashtag, and one of the hashtag which was very important at that time was Shia Jalus mein Tohin Sahaba. So this is a phrase actually that was a reason that why all those processions or all those protests were going on. There was an allegation from the Sunni sects that the Shia were committing blasphemy against the companions of Prophet. So that become the basis for entire this hate campaign that we have witnessed at that time. And quickly then I'll also would like to talk about another case. It was related to mandirs, a mandir's construction. in Islamabad. So government announced the construction of a Hindu temple in Islamabad and allocated a piece of land. So that was not taken very positive by the Pakistani and especially by the radicals in Pakistan, and they took over the hits, the social media came spaces and spewed hate, and we can see that the campaign started on June 22nd, and it was active till July 6th. So a lot of hate mongering was going on. We noticed like 882 mentions and 740 unique authors, and similarly on the topic wheel you can have different topics and subtopics. You can click on all those and have what sort of conversations at that time were going on. And trending topics, you can also have the one of the main hashtag that was floating, and that became the main focus of the campaign, that this hashtag Mandir to Banega, which means Mandir shall be constructed. It was coming from some supporters of Mandir who floated this tweet, and against this hashtag, another hashtag appeared. It was Mandir nahi banega. It came as a response to this hashtag from the religious radicals. And similarly, I mean, another case which is very, very, very important, because on our monitor, online monitor, so maximum hate speech that we have captured is against Ahmadiyya minority. And Ahmadiyya minority, everyone knows that it's the most persecuted community in Pakistan. So you can see from September 2019 till September, almost September is ending. So like in 13 months, every now and then you would see there is a spike against the Ahmadiyyas. So I mean, this sort of hate speech, I mean, it's very persistent against Ahmadis. With regards to other minorities, for example Hindus, I talked about this case. So we saw that hate speech specific to one event, and that was construction of their mandir. And same is with regards to Shia. Definitely Shia community is another community that receives a lot of hate speech. But again, on the monitor, we noticed that it was event specific, and it was around the Ashura days. And but for Ahmadis, the case is totally different. Every now and then you would receive a lot of hate messages, but particularly this spike that you can see around 949 mentions here. So if I go through some of the messages, and total number of volume in 13 months is 8,027 with 4,322 unique authors. So I mean, the terms that are used against Ahmadis, so they are like very aggressive, I would say, that very violent terms people would use against, like for example, this hashtag Qadiani Aqliyat Nahi Gadar, which means Ahmadis are not only minority but they are traitors. So this sort of tweets are or hashtags would be used by people. So same is another hashtag Qadiani Dunya Ka Badtareen Kafir, which means Ahmadis are the worst infidel of the world. So this sort of tweets and conversations would be used against Ahmadis. And we have witnessed a lot of swear form of violent messages that were being circulated against Ahmadis, especially during the times of minorities commission, when government announced the constitution of minorities commission. And that was a time when a lot of people were against it, that because Ahmadis don't consider themselves as non-Muslims, but in constitution of Pakistan they are defined as non-Muslims. So people would especially the radical Islamists, they would they would argue that since they don't accept themselves as a minority, they don't have any right to be included in a national commission. So unless or until they accept themselves as minority. So like at that time, we also saw that not only the laymen were spewing against Ahmadis, but inside the government, uh, the sitting ministers, they were also spewing hatred. And this the biggest spike is the time when one state minister of the sitting political party of Pakistan, Tehreek Insaf. So they, I mean, that person made a video and shared on Facebook and also on Twitter. So that became a reason where like people thought it's sort of legitimized to spew hate against Ahmadis. So I mean, this sort of hate speech and this sort of trends we right now have been monitoring, and I think it's a good time to tell you that we have already compiled our first annual report on the hate speech against religious minorities, and you will come across through this report different trends and different situations and different terminologies, and minorities are being targeted in Pakistan.